Hello, my Grue Rume Show. For the Grue Rume Show today, I got two awesome guests, and they're actors, and they learned the art of professional wrestling, and they're in a new wrestling movie called Moral, and it's the wrestling lady film, and it stars Madi, DiStefano, and Paige Campbell, and I'm really looking forward to talking to them both about the film. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters. I am the host of the Grue Rume Show, and my interview with them will be coming up very soon. This is my Grue Room, and as always, welcome to my nightmare. And by the way, like this wrestling film, Sindy Moral was filmed at Catchpoint Wrestling right here in Philly, and Drew Gulak and Hot Sauce and Yuta from AEW and a couple others run the wrestling school there, and it's a very good wrestling school. If anyone's trying to learn the craft of professional wrestling, contact Catchpoint and Drew Gulak, and they'll guide you on how to learn the craft of wrestling. So stay tuned and let's get started. All right.
Being recorded.
Yeah, I know. It's always that voice that says that.
Yeah, they don't leave it up to imagination. They let you know this is recorded.
This is recording. Everything you say from now on is going to be documented, right?
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming on, and it's great to have you both on the show talking about wrestling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could talk about wrestling any day of the week.
Nice. So, I guess the first question I want to start asking you both is, how did you both find out about the film and get cast as the leads?
Okay, well, we got to back up. We conceived of this. This is our project.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Paige did a movie called Porch Pirate, and they had done a proof of concept for it, and they raised the money and they made this film. And I was like really pleased with, I don't know, it seemed like such a great DIY project. And I have friends at Keystone Pictures that have camera equipment and TV crews. And so I decided I wanted to make a pilot. But we had been talking about wrestling, and we saw Iron Claw and the Wrestlers.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, it was really, I think this idea started as not a joke, but kind of a joke in terms of we were watching The Wrestler a year and a half ago. And I was like, dude, there's so many female driven movies these days. How is there not a gritty female version of The Wrestler? It really doesn't make sense that there's not this,
or a female version of Rocky, for that matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Philly Proud.
Yeah, there's
definitely.
Where's the comeback for the older woman? And there is
comeback film about a female hero.
The Annette Bening movie that Jodie Foster was in, where she was a swimmer.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Anyway,
but fighting movie is not there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the idea. I think if there is one elevator pitch, is to make a female version, kind of a Rocky or The Wrestler, is kind of what we're going for.
Okay. I mean, both of those films are amazing. I think anyone there isn't a person that hasn't seen Rocky films, and when you think of Rocky, you think of Philly.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Totally. I don't know if you noticed, but we do have the Rocky shot where
I saw that in the trailer. Yes.
Lion Market. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we haven't shot this movie. We've only
Oh.
shot the proof of concept trailer, and we got Gayle involved, and I took a 6-week wrestling training program at Catchpoint Wrestling with Drew Gulak. And so we've brought this much together, and we're trying to get some attention and get some headway towards finding investors and producers.
Okay. And you mentioned the wrestling film, so I'm sure all these wrestling films inspired you both to want to make this film and write the script for it and everything. And The Wrestler is such a good film. Mickey Rourke did such an incredible job. Marissa Tomei was on fire.
Yeah.
And And did you see Queen of the Ring too? Like that was a really good movie. I like that.
I enjoyed it too. Yeah, see, that's a cool one to see because it's a biopic. So like seeing stuff about like the history of women's wrestling come out is really cool too. Because
yeah, we've watched a lot of documentaries, and I've read a lot of biographies and different books on wrestling. Like I have totally done the deep dive into the dramaturgy of the history of wrestling.
Oh.
Well, yeah, like women's wrestling in particular too. Like the Queen of the Ring coming out is so cool because it's like, as she's been doing the research and telling me more about those like early days of like when wrestling was super carny, what it was for women was so insane and so crazy.
Wow.
And not a lot of that history is out there other than in books and like Queen of the Ring now. So it's like we're kind of trying to create our own fictional story, but like we want to include all that history because it's like not really out there other than in some books.
Be, like true to the experience of a woman that would be my age, mid-50s, that was wrestling when she was, you know, from 19 to say 30, right? And then hasn't wrestled for 25 years. That's kind of the idea. So what was it like in, you know, 1989, in the 90s, in the early 2000s? Like that's what I've been mostly exploring for the writing of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you mentioned like the wrestler, like you could definitely see now because from watching the trailer, like your character is definitely like similar to his, like the female version. Like you see her with the cigarette and the drinks, and Mickey Rourke went down that like dark path where he was like high all the time, drunk, and ruined the relationship with Marissa Tomei and his kid. And it seems like she's on like the same path.
I mean, there are definitely similarities, but I really think, I mean, I had a friend say that she seemed like not a sympathetic character because she seemed like she's a terrible mom, she's a terrible grandmother. You don't see it in the trailer, but she is a mother. The daughter has a toddler. But I don't think she's all that much more terrible than all of us, really. I mean, we all have our vices and our shortcomings. Sure. You know, most of the people I know are technically alcoholics, right? And so, like, I think she's struggling to get through the day, and I think that makes her really relatable. She's running a bar by herself. You know, they're a 3-generation household with no men in it, and you know, she's got a tough relationship with her daughter, largely to how her daughter feels about the wrestling world and how it impacted their family when she was growing up.
Yeah.
It's alluded to, but there was a falling out with me and the EWE.
Oh, okay.
Elite Wrestling Entertainment.
I like it.
Yeah. But yeah, talking about all the drama with the daughter too, that's another like angle that to us is like so wrestling. Cause like I mean the big example I think right now is Dominic Mysterio. Where saw him in those angles when he was a kid, the ladder match for custody. It's just insane. But now he's in there and he's doing his whole thing. And wrestling's so multi-generational. Like we love having the daughter in there as like a character. Like
and like before you even started like thinking about the film and making a wrestling film, you both were wrestling fans before even starting this?
So I'm coming in as the big wrestling fan, and that's the character I play in the movie too, is Mark, the ultra wrestling nerd.
Of course, his name is Mark.
Yeah,
Mark. That's what they call. For anyone who doesn't know, that's what they call wrestling fans, like the Marks. Yeah,
exactly. I'm a comedian who's a big wrestling fan. I'm like, I think I can play that. I act a little bit, but I think I can play a wrestling nerd.
But you've been doing some short films, and you just got asked to do another proof of concept.
Yeah. So we're working on stuff, but what was my point with bringing up Mark?
I
being a wrestling fan.
Oh yeah, so I was a wrestling fan, and I was showing her these movies, and she kind of through researching for this became a big wrestling fan, I guess, but not going not
I
before.
was not a wrestling fan. A year and a half ago, I was not a wrestling fan at all.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't against it. I just hadn't, it just hadn't been a part of my life, really. But I come from an acting, writing, directing background. So I went to Temple as an undergrad for acting, and then I got my master's there in directing, and then I ran a nonprofit theater company in Philadelphia for 20 years. And
Wow.
I wrote several plays, and I've had plays produced in the Edinburgh Fringe Festival and off Broadway, whatever. So I do have a writing background, but I've never written a screenplay. We've never written a screenplay. So it's definitely challenging because it's different than writing on stage. But
wow. Okay.
yeah,
And
my background.
you mentioned you went and trained a 6-week course with Drew Gulak at Catchpoint. I think Wheeler Yuta from AEW also is one of the trainers, and Hot Sauce and Annie Social and all them.
I've worked with all of them now.
And what was that like for you, going through like a 6-week intense course like that?
Crazy, so intense. So I initially I heard about the school, and so I contacted Drew because it just made sense. And my initial thought was that I would pay someone and I would have like 3 or 4 private sessions just to get a couple things down and learn a couple things. And he mentioned, well, we're starting a 6-week fundamentals of pro wrestling training program on Monday. This was like Friday, and, in January. And I was like, what? He was like, well, I mean, you probably don't want to do that. And I was like, well, I don't know. Maybe I do. It just sounded like a crazy challenge, like boot camp. I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to do it. And so it was $1,500. I'm pretty transparent about everything. I don't think Catchpoint would mind, but, and it's 6 weeks, 4 nights a week, which for someone in their 50s, that's not a lot of recovery time in between.
No, it's not.
For multiple hours, 4 nights in a row every week.
Wow.
So going to the sporting club and lifting weights during the day to get in shape to get through it, because the other people in my class were men in their 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
And we had a match. We had an official, match as our graduation, and they set it up like a real indie match where you don't necessarily know who you're going to be matched with or what you're going to do. Yeah. So it's not like stage combat. We're like, we're going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and then we're going to both go, what? And then we're going to do this. You learn series of moves, but you really just know who you're wrestling, how long your match is supposed to be, and who's supposed to come out on top.
Wow.
Then you have like 10 minutes to discuss it, go through it, talk through it, maybe work through some physical points. And then you just do it and you communicate in the ring. And that's what real wrestlers do. You probably know that. But you're talking to each other in the ring like it's a real match. And my opponent was Vita Von Star. She's she's also a teacher at Catchpoint. So she talked me through it as we went. And was Hot Sauce our ref?
I don't remember who refed it.
I don't know. I was too busy getting my ass kicked.
He was there, yeah.
Of course, in the end, I won. Thank you, Vita. Thank you, Catchpoint. But yeah, I got my ass kicked. It was hard. It was really hard. It was 8 minutes. It was the longest 8 minutes of my life. I couldn't walk for like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm sure.
And there's footage of this all over the social media. Check it out. But it was so fascinating going. I would go and like film to get stuff for the social media. Like, seeing it just broken down, like seeing how many moving parts there are to it. I've been watching since I was like 11, and it's like this is crazy as fuck. Like it was just like broken down, like on every like micro like level of it is it's nuts. Yeah, like.
Yeah, and then I got to meet Annie Social. I took her out to lunch. I talked with her about her history in pro wrestling and traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a workshop. Well, I sat in on a workshop with Allison Danger, and I got to meet her.
Mm-hmm.
And we went out to eat. and then through my friends at Keystone Pictures. The other main guy that's been making this with us is my friend Rob Marish, and he's one of the owners of Keystone Pictures. And they do a lot of HGTV shows, so cooking shows, house flipping shows, right?
Yeah, reality TV,
and
like
so
series.
He's friends with Robert Irvine, and that's Gayle Kim's.
Oh, Gayle Kim's husband, yes.
So he, Paige, of course, was already a fan of Gayle Kim, but I wasn't familiar. Because this was a year ago, and I watched some of her stuff, and I was like, oh my God, she's perfect because.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had an idea of what I wanted for the rival character. Although in wrestling, are they really rivals?
Right. Because when you watch the trailer, you definitely see like Gayle Kim's character talking to yours, and they're basically like friends, and Gayle Kim's like, well, I know you want this, but basically if you screw it up, I'll beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, I think that's something like it seems like you're a wrestling fan as well, and like something we want to do as like wrestling fans making it is like wrestling's so exposed now as a fan in 2025, but we want to make it showing some of that backstage stuff without it being like this is stupid. You know what I mean? It's like just like show like that it's a whole show and it's a whole production, but it's like those gray areas. How do they feel about each other in real life? Their characters, like it's interesting shit. Like
it is.
I have a friend who's a screenwriter who said it's hard to make a good wrestling movie because it's fake,
Oh, see, you can't say the F word in wrestling.
Well, the thing is, it's not a typical sports movie where the big question is who's gonna win. Are they gonna win? The question isn't whether or not Sindy Moral is going to win the match. The question is she going to make it to the match? Is she going to pull this off? What's going to happen with her relationship with her daughter? Is the match the way they planned it was going to go?
Exactly.
Is the match going to be successful separate from the EWE? It's the little train that could. Is it going to make it? So those are the questions, not who's going to win the match. Like that's so
of course.
relevant in wrestling sometimes.
Oh, it really is. Yeah, like all the belts and everything. It's just story devices for like keep that story going, like keep that business going.
And like the match you filmed with Gayle, like I know you say you didn't film the movie, so you probably just filmed like little bits and pieces of the match with Gayle Kim.
I believe that everything we shot with Gayle, we shot in one afternoon at Catchpoint.
I see like all the scenes were there at the school.
Her jumping off the rings, that's at Catchpoint, and the guys at Keystone Pictures were able to black out everything behind it, and then later, I guess through CGI, I can't speak to what technology they use these days. But, the audience behind her is obviously for the proof of concept it's added. So she was just flying by herself in the ring.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and then actually the shot of her pouring tequila on my head wound.
Yeah.
Wasn't her. We shot that before Gayle even committed to doing this.
Oh, get out.
It with my hairdresser who stood in, and she's the one over me. And then we shot Gayle with the bottle doing that, and then we cut to me going,
Yeah.
That's the magic of movie making,
Wow.
So we made I don't know if you'd call it, it's probably high budget for a trailer, but low budget for a movie. And, we shot it all in 3.5 days.
Oh my God.
Trailer, yeah. But we haven't seen the movie. We just shot what?
Yeah.
We probably shot like 20 minutes worth of material for a 3-minute trailer. So that's why we're able to like go back and cut some different trailers together with other footage. But yeah.
Wow. And I love in the trailer, like how with that match, when Gayle Kim is basically telling her, "Oh, you're a loser. You're always a loser." And then with the alcohol and the blood, and Gayle definitely reach into that heel heel roll that like she was very intense.
Isn't she amazing? And she's never, I don't think she considers herself to have ever done dramatic acting. And she was a little concerned. She was like, how do you know if I'm going to be any good? And I was like, you've been on camera for 25 years, you know? You'll be fine. And also, unlike the stage, which I've done a lot more of than I've done film, you don't have to like do a 2-hour take and get it perfect every night. Each take is like a minute, 2 minutes. You can redo it. You can redo it. So it's a lot less pressure for someone that's not as experienced with traditional acting. But she has so much performance experience and camera experience. And she was so great to work with and so sweet and so awesome. I think she really shines in the trailer. Yeah. She looks like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's killer in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agreed to that point so hard. Yeah, she was a little like, I haven't done like much film acting. I'm like, but you've been on television for decades. I'm like, how that has to be acting experience. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She knocked it out. Yeah, we didn't have to correct her very much at all. She knocked it out.
So Paige is a stand-up comedian, and he's been doing that for 10 years. So
really?
Yeah.
He's done a lot of like skits online with his friends, and then he's done a couple of these indie movies.
Yeah.
But most of his experience is on stage telling jokes. So
yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's why he makes the perfect wrestling nerd sidekick.
It's like writing plus just being obsessed with wrestling. I'm like, I can make a wrestling movie. If I can write a movie, it's about wrestling.
Sure. Yeah.
I saw that thing, that ghost frat house thing you had on your page.
Yeah, that's with my buddy Alex. He's a New York comic, hilarious. Yeah, like that kind of stuff is like most of my acting experience.
Nice. and Madi, like for the film, like
hang on one second. My name is Madi.
Madi, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I don't think we ever did names at the top, but
no, we didn't.
I know it looks like Madi, but it's Madi. You can think of it like Iron Madi.
Iron Madi, I like that. I'm guessing you're an Iron Maiden fan, or
a little bit, but really, I was looking for a catchy Instagram name, and Paige had just gifted me an Iron Maiden T-shirt, so
nice.
It just made sense to go with that.
She's wearing the Maiden shirt in the proof of concept. We figured a wrestler from the 80s would be an Iron Maiden fan. Sindy Moral would definitely be into Maiden.
Yeah, Sindy Moral is a little more of a metal fan than Madi DiStefano is, but I like it.
Well, did your character rub off on you at all? But do you listen to more metal?
Pain ever since. Like, it's all I do. I just can you hang on a second?
That's part of writing a successful movie too. You gotta.
Yeah. What were you saying? Okay. So anyway, when I first started, no, I think I'm rubbing off on her. I think that most good actors, it's different when you're writing for yourself because you have you can write whatever you want. But I think most of the roles I've been cast in end up being very, very close to me. Like it seems like it's me on stage. I don't know. So I think Sindy is a lot like Madi. After I ran a theater company here for 20 years, I moved to Austin, Texas, and I moved to the most dangerous neighborhood in the worst intersection, and I opened a live music venue there. And so I was, in Austin, in that neighborhood, they call me Boss Lady. But yeah, I ran a rock club in the ghetto in Austin for 8 years, and so.
Damn.
So my character is a bar owner now. Cindy's a bar owner. We shot at Dirty Frank's. Have you been to Dirty Frank's?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
now when you look at it again, you're going to go, oh, my God, how did I not know that's a Dirty Frank's? It's so
my God,
beautiful in there. Thank you to Jody and Three Finger Bill. And was it Kathy was her name? That
sounds right.
Stayed up with us all night while we shot. We shot from 3 a.m. to like.
Wow.
8. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a very like nice looking dive bar.
Yeah.
It's so colorful, and the fact that usually when you think about shooting in a bar, you think it's a row of bar stools and then it's a row of bar and it's like a hallway,
Yeah.
you know. And Dirty Frank's is like a circle. It's great.
It is, yeah.
There's action all around and so much color and life. And I've been going to Dirty Frank's since I was a teenager. So
Oh wow.
that's a long time. I've known Jody since I was a teenager.
Yeah. And I think to make the Rocky comparison is like for the full thing, the proof of concept we used like all Philly locations, and it's like we do want it to be like very Philly. So it's like
definitely.
I mean, there's Dirty Frank's, there's Catchpoint, there's Italian Market. That tunnel where the wrestler is walking in is the Arden. I don't know if you can even tell. Oh yeah.
No.
Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Sorry.
Yeah.
No one's gonna watch it. No one from the Arden, I mean, is gonna check this out.
Don't keep saying it. We're a local professional theater company. When it looks like I'm walking into a stadium, really walking through the risers of a local theater.
Oh, nice. And like for the film, how do you think like your character balances like her wrestling life, her ring life with her personal life, and then gets thrown back into the wrestling life again?
Well, I think she got a nasty divorce from wrestling. You know, I think she and the EWE had a falling out 25 years ago. And what you don't see in the proof of concept is what makes her come back around to wrestling again. And there's a fight at the bar that she has to manhandle someone, and it gets on video and it goes a little bit viral. So that's kind of the impetus for this. So how does she balance it? I think that's the struggle of the movie is she's scared. She's scared of failure. She's scared of the shame and embarrassment that the first falling out left her family with, and how it affected her relationship with her daughter. And her daughter doesn't really want her to do this. But there's that secret yearning to get back to something that brought her so much joy and that she was good at. You know, obviously she wouldn't be a formerly famous person if she wasn't like kick-ass at it, right?
Exactly.
So, you know, I don't think she does a great job of balancing it. I think she's trying to figure that out, and that's part of the struggle. But we also have built a community around her. Like there is another family member, and there are some neighbors and coworkers that kind of all pitch in and help with the grandbaby and like help different aspects of helping her try to go back, not relive her dream, but I think Paige worded it well with end out her career on her own.
Okay.
So yeah, close out her wrestling chapter like on a high note.
Yeah, it's like it may have ended like weird or like not ideally back then, but it's like that doesn't mean all these years she hasn't done it. She hates wrestling now. Secretly, she does. It would be nice to have some flowers at the end of the career. It would be nice to go out on a high note, you know?
And then Gayle becomes instrumental in giving her a chance to make that happen, you know?
Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice. Okay, so what is your drink of choice and your character's drink of choice?
Okay. My drink of choice is whiskey. I'm a whiskey on a rock kind of girl.
Nice.
I also drink red wine. My second liquor, if whiskey's not available, is tequila, and that's what we went with for Sindy. Is that she's a tequila drinker, and I'll be totally honest. One of the reasons I did that because you can substitute water for tequila.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always get the golden tequila Wait, which is which now? It's been a while since I owned a bar.
Blanco
Añejo and Blanco, Reposado.
Blanco's the yellow stuff, right?
I think Blanco's white.
Oh, really? All right. I didn't know about that.
Anyway, but if you have to do a scene where you're throwing back 12 shots, it could be water, and the tequila poured on my head was water.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I think that would burn really bad if
well, here's
alcohol was hitting an open wound.
Didn't bust her head open.
Yeah, my head's not really busted open either. Tracy Olkus was my she did hair and makeup for some of the shots. The shots where my hair and makeup looked good, she did those. And she built that little wound on my head with fancy makeup tricks. But
it looked real. Yeah, it looked like that, like you got really like split
and then
open.
They do.
I know. Yeah, it's crazy.
Pull out a blade and.
I made the joke about not busting your head open, but that's what they do in wrestling. They do just cut it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's nuts. Blading is actually nuts.
What are we going to see today?
Oh yeah, you're in Philly, right?
Yeah.
Fucking CZW is doing wrestling in Love Park.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, like 4:00.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's free. Check it out.
Oh my God, yeah.
CZW.
Yeah, we're gonna go. We'll meet up with you there if you want.
Okay.
So let me ask you, how did you get the name for your podcast?
Well, I'm a big horror fan. So Grue stands for gruesome, and I couldn't really call it the Gruesome Show because then people wouldn't want to come on.
That'd be hard to get guests and viewers, probably.
And this little guy is actually Grue, and me and my buddy like had a thought on how we wanted Grue to look, and we hired someone to draw him. And this is what they drew, and it was perfect, like a monkey with a horror mask and a chainsaw. So like that's our guy, that's our symbol for the show.
I dig it, man. Yeah, I'm a big horror guy as well. I dig it.
Nice. What are some horror films you both like?
Well, obviously Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but also Kim Henkel was one of the writers on that, and his son is Ian Henkel, who's a friend of mine in Austin, Texas, and we actually played in a band together for a while. So he's part of the Texas Chainsaw family.
Nice.
I've been trying to get him interested in producing this. He's thinking about it.
Okay.
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw is up there. All the slashers. I saw that you interviewed like most of the Terrifier cast. Like I'm glad slashers are back with Terrifier a little bit. I love slashers, and I'm with you with the logo. Just monsters. Monsters are my favorite. I think just any kind of weird creature that rips people apart. Like the gruesome would have gotten me on. I would have joined your show.
Yeah, so instead of calling it gruesome, I was like, we should just call Grue. Yeah, I think that would and it just sounds better. Like, yeah. And he's like horrifying, but also like a little cute. So he has like a mixture.
There's something about this. I don't know. That's really interesting. Are those teeth? Is it bone?
Yeah. It's like a little, like a mask with like teeth on there and stuff.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it looks sort of like a rodent to me.
Yeah, it does. I know. You're right. Yeah. Good. I'm looking at it now. Yeah. I mean, the red eyes, the tail. Yeah. And what would be like if you two were going to do a karaoke song? What do you think it would be?
Ooh, well, I'm wearing the Judas Priest hat. One of my go-tos is Breaking the Law. I love just ripping Breaking the Law real quick at karaoke.
I've done karaoke like 3 times in my entire life, so that's like once every 10 years since karaoke came about.
Okay,
but. Rock and Roll Suicide by David Bowie, maybe.
Nice.
Yeah. You're not alone.
I like it.
It's about misfits, right?
Yes, definitely.
Some misfits. being into horror and wrestling.
Yes. and being like a wrestling fan, like when I do karaoke, like I'm a huge Chris Jericho fan, so I sing Judas, the
Yeah,
Ozzy song.
dude, that's fun. I like that. Judas rules.
Oh my God, it's such a great song. Like I wish he goes back to that song again. Probably once he turns face, because right now Jericho's a heel. So once he turns face again, he might go back to that because the fans would sing it.
Yeah, he didn't like having people sing along when he's supposed to be a bad guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree. That was so hype in AEW when the whole crowd would sing Judas. I was like, yeah, dude.
I know, exactly.
You're walking into your own #1 rock single. That is that is fucking cool.
And I guess like the last question I'll ask you both basically is, where can fans follow you and keep up with what's happening with the film?
Yeah, so the #1 is going to be at Wrestler Lady everywhere. That's the movie. Follow the movie. We're trying to get eyes on that. Us individually, I'm Uncle Paige everywhere. Most of my stuff's comedy, but it's going to be tons of Wrestler Lady now too. And where do people follow you?
Well, I'm not a huge Instagram poster. I'm trying to get a little bit better at it. And it's some travel stuff. I've been traveling a lot. So like recently I was in Denmark with horses. Anyway, but it's at Iron Madi, MAYDEE. And then on Facebook, I'm Madi DiStefano.
Okay.
Find.
Yeah.
But at Wrestler Lady, we're trying to post updates on there as we make progress towards getting this movie made.
Yeah, and I mean, thanks so much for your time. But if you haven't seen the proof of concept, just go watch that. It turned out so cool.
Yes.
We're both so proud of it. We're driving this project forward, but like, if that proof of concept doesn't hook you, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, right.
We're just trying to get it in front of as many people as possible.
Yeah, and plus, like, you got Gayle Kim in the trailer, so like all the wrestling fans are gonna want to see it based that Gayle Kim is gonna be in it.
Yeah, it's already getting that traction from wrestling fans. We've gotten a lot of action from that segment of the internet for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, thank you both so much for taking time and doing this. It was great chatting.
Your interest,
dude. Yeah, thanks for your time as well. Thanks for having us on.
Definitely. Here we go.
Maybe that's more appropriate.
Yeah, like the fist bump too and everything. Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll do it in person at Love Park in an hour and a half.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that it?
Yep, that's it. So let me hit